Okay, so how many of you guys were homeschooled? I was homeschooled growing up, and that's why I decided to talk about homeschooling, because I wanted to look a little bit into homeschool. And one thing is, I noticed how much is growing in size, and I feel like with how much homeschooling is growing in size, people need to learn more about homeschooling and understand more of it. And for me, homeschooling was a great experience. I loved it. But today we're going to talk about how much it's growing, its help in education, and homeschoolers' social lives. Okay, homeschooling has increased a ton. In 2011, there was 1.77 million kids who were homeschooled, and this ranged from through 12. And this also had was pretty broad with the level that the parents had too. Like there could be parents who didn't go to high school to parents who were teachers. And so the level for both sides is very broad. And originally homeschooling was mainly just for religion, but because it started growing, it started growing because there's been more reasons for homeschooling, like bullying, disabilities, academics, and family time. And okay, with the education in homeschooling, homeschoolers get one-on-one attention, and this can really help them understand everything better. And this also helps them be encouraged to achieve at a higher level. But one thing that also needs to be remembered is that they still need support and resources and commitment to achieve anything and to succeed. And lastly, relationships. Many people don't think homeschoolers have a very social life because they're stuck at home all day, and who would they talk to? But in reality, homeschoolers usually have a social life. They just don't talk to people at school. And according to Michael H. Romanowski, who's a professor of education, homeschoolers aren't isolated. There are different ways of socializing for homeschoolers. Like, they could hang around with their neighbors, they could go to clubs or events or do sports. That's a lot of their socializing. And then also, there's a thing called a co-op for homeschoolers, where homeschool families get together and they will learn together. And this helps the homeschoolers, like, it encourages them and builds relationships, and it also helps the parents with helping them know how to teach and curriculums and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in conclusion, homeschooling is not only growing, but it's also different from what most people think it is. And so, with how much it's growing, people need to understand homeschooling and need to know more about it. But for me personally, I thought homeschooling was fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I will always cherish those days.
Is that it?
Yeah.